Hello and welcome to Mad Owl Goes Racing, and today we're back in Project Cars 2, carrying on with our career and the LMP3, I'll get it right this week, Pan Asia Championship, and today we're off to New Zealand, just outside Christchurch, and Raupuna Parkcircuit, which I've hopefully pronounced correctly, and that's going to be 23rd of May. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which 23rd of May would be early winter. Yeah, early winter. Oh, rain, bugger. Luckily, I did actually set up some wets on this the other week when I was setting up some softs, so better put the wets on. Otherwise, we'll look right stupid. Right, let me out. Whoop. Get out of my way. Was it me, or have I moved slightly? Pass. Now, for those that don't know anything about Ruapuna, the only thing I can say is I'm pretty sure this is about the only game it's in. It's got quite a nice flow to it. Not the fastest track in the world by any stretch of the imagination, and I'll let this car get ahead and out of the way a bit. All the corners usually quite nice bit of bank into them, like that one's got a bit of banking, and like I said, quite a nice flow. Bit of runoff, but not too much, and I'll still try to let this get a bit further away. Trying to check to make sure I don't let the car behind get too close. Right, let's see if I can remember how to drive around here as we unleash the 5.5 litres of V8 behind us, or whatever it is. Quite an interesting first corner. You have to start braking slightly turned in, and then tighten into the second bit, and don't let it get away from you. This corner is always a pain. I've always found it a bit difficult to get the right line through there to I always forget to keep on winding the left hand side down on that corner. I didn't give him enough distance ahead of me, obviously. Chances of getting past, 0. If I start pushing him, he'll just go slowly, which is a bit of a pain. Any chance of getting past on the approach to this? Maybe. Patient, waiting to get on the power coming out there. Not bad for this one. Let's do a little bit better without another car too close ahead of us. Watch out for puddle build up again. A little less of the curve on the outside. Trying to spot that corner is really difficult due to the lack of visibility in the car. With the you're trying to look for the curb, but you can't really see it because it's Ah! Basically, he's cutting my line off. I didn't have a lot of choice but to swing it sideways there. Give myself some room. If I'd have probably just followed him, I'd have probably been fine, but getting greedy. Trouble is, I'm trying to push before it gets too wet, for obvious reasons. If I wait too long, I'll probably end up on a track that's not quite so optimal for a fast lap. So it's a bit of a balancing act between pushing it and the case of the stutters there, which was not very helpful. Use a little bit of curb there, and again. It's the same damn car, so I'm going to try and go around the outside of it, and he's not going to give me the space, or is he? Yep, just about. It's very easy to run out of room there, on the outside of the corner. Oh, and we're starting to feel a little bit of understeer. Don't ride the curve too much or else you'll end up spinning yourself out. Now that's a ridiculous gap, and I don't know why it's so big. Yep, that was definitely a bit too much on the brakes, but so I have to hang on to it a little bit on the brakes to guarantee I'll actually make the corner. Teammate getting in the way again. Well, I can't see me getting a lot quicker, so do I go for, we've only had 7 minutes, so we're only halfway through. Do I say sod it and call that a day on the qualifying? What a 1.8 second. Ugh, that's a ridiculous amount of advantage, but you do have to say it wouldn't be the first time I've done not a lot of laps in a practice through qualifying session. You know, turn up late for a race meeting and you just go out for one lap of practice just to make sure the bike actually works. I think I'm going to say sod it, and I'm going to go skip to the end, and I'm probably going to regret it, and it's probably going to absolutely team down the rain for the race. But assuming it's not too wet initially, and I can hang on for a full 30 minutes, which might prove interesting. Oh God, it's still paying my rain, so this is going to be frankly horrible. Where the hell was he going? Straight, and him. Getting jumped at the start by the opposition. That wasn't right.
2 lengths back. One length behind. 2 lengths behind.
This is definitely going to be a case of take it easy and hope there's not too much water build up, which I've got a horrible feeling there will be a lot of due to the fact that it's paying
2 lengths behind you.
That would say so much easier in VR because you'll be able to look around the corner a bit more. It's actually got quite good side vision on this car. I was actually having a go at it in VR the other day just for a laugh, and
You're leading by 1 second. Try and extend the gap.
I'm trying, Ben, I'm trying. It's actually got quite good side vision. It's got plain windows either side, so, and they do extend well back, so I was actually thinking I might have a look at various games and see how they look in VR and how they perform in VR and how good VR is, and how good VR is across a range of sort of like the two machines I've got. So what, the 1080 Ti with the 2060, and compare and contrast to see which give you the better, or whether or not there's sufficient oomph in a 2060. I mean, I run previously with a 1060, so I don't particularly want to put that back in the machine just to prove a point, but I get the impression that when there's a bit more water build up, that corner's going to get really nasty. This comes down to whether 30 minutes time we're going to have enough grip to actually get around the course or not. Although there's always a possibility the rain might ease off. I don't know. So one thing about driving and or riding, racing in the wet, it's as much about concentration as anything else. So in a lot of cases it's more about the effort of the concentration is actually much more than the physical effort required. And the worst thing's where it starts off dry and then it starts to rain, and you're trying to work out how much, blow that puddle's getting a bit big, how much grip you've got at any particular point. And so you don't do that and run way too wide. I probably mentioned it before that I was in a race where it started to rain, and I gave up the win because I slowed down too much. It's just slightly annoying, but there you go. When you have to pay for your own spares and the bloke who passes you has somebody else pay for them, well, that's utterly sponsor to sort out what he breaks. Getting tucked around a bit. Front end's getting a bit light and a bit lively. The AI is pulling away from the rest. Our tyres are a bit chilly still. Oh, bugger. And that's what happens when you don't pay attention.
One on your right. Still there.
I was a little bit late on my braking there and completely balls the corner up.
You got one 2 lengths back.
There's all these little rivers across the road are a pain. You hit them and could go anywhere. This is where I don't know whether or not the AI will be getting better and I'll be getting worse, or whether we'll be about the same. So the usual problem when it comes to Project Cars 2 and a bit of damp. And So staying out a little bit wider away from the apex a bit, but in fact I can't actually see the bloody apex, which is not very helpful. Right, let's try and get it right this time. Again, there's a bit of a river forming across the entrance to the corner here, which is not
Your lead to 1 second. Good job.
not very helpful, so I don't know whether I actually just locked the tyre up or it was just a complete lack of concentration on my part and missed a braking point. I wasn't really sure. I was just 1 minute, everything seemed hunky-dory, and the next I suddenly floating across the side of the circuit.
You got 1 2 lengths back. 1 length back.
I'll lift over the wet bits. Again, I don't want to stick the wheel right into the apexes because we've got little lakes forming, and the last thing you want to do is get the car rotated, flicking itself around on one of them. Oh, too late in the brakes. Careful, careful, careful.
2 lengths back.
Going a bit, I lose a bit. Oh god.
Okay, we've got some pressure coming
Jesus
from behind.
Christ.
Start thinking about defence.
I'm thinking about the defence all the time. Oh, that's a lake.
2 lengths behind.
That entrance into the first corner is so bloody dangerous because you're just floating across it. And again there. You're so conscious of the fact that it's just open for instant spin at any point here. I do wish it had stopped raining. This is a nightmare. I didn't even check what the temperature was. Let's try getting our nose in a bit earlier there, that will help. This does actually remind me of a lot of the race we lost, because there's just one person caught me up out of nowhere and the rest of the field was a mile behind. That just feels like a car's going to go spin as soon as you touch the wet bit.
2 lengths behind you.
Less than 2 lengths behind me.
2 lengths back. He's still there.
I should have moved my seat up a bit so I could see over the side a bit better, but I'm sure when I was in VR I must have moved the seat or something, because I'm sure I'm in a different place to where I was before. I seem much closer to the steering wheel, but oh dear. Ran out of talent again. What I find useful is to don't get in too high a gear.
Try and build out that gap.
That way if you do start spinning you don't end up spinning hugely. Or huge amounts of wheel spin. If I come out here in third, if I start to spin I'll go all the way up to the maximum speed in third, whereas I come out of it in second. You can only go up to whatever the maximum is in second, and I think that makes life a little bit easier. I might be talking out my arse, of course. Oops, don't go down to first
Got one
gear.
2 lengths back.
Oh, come on. How long we got to go? Oh god, another 18 minutes. The front end didn't want to stick there. To say a couple of the places you sort of go into here and you sort of look and go, oh, I'm in the different corner than what I thought it was, because there's a couple of 3 corners that look quite similar. Quite easy to get confused, especially if you're old git like me. Ooh, get back on the track.
Behind you.
I'm just aquaplaning into that first corner. I'm not really in control at all.
Two legs behind.
It's quite easy to mistake that corner and this corner, even though you've only just been round one. Or it could just be my old age setting out. Try and stay a bit further over this side so there's a little less in the way of puddles in the middle of the road here. So that's one of the things I think, oh god, you need to do a bit more modelling of if you're going to have a lot of wet, especially if you're going to start modelling the way the water runs and everything, because you need to put crown in the road. Without a crown then you don't get the water running off, and that might be why you get quite so many large puddles. Is it me or is the wiper slowed down? So, oh dear. I'm starting to think the rain was easy enough. I don't think it is. Nice to know we've got a nice big grunty engine that'll pull from quite low revs sat behind us, so you don't have to rev the nuts off it to get anywhere. Just a little bit wider, not because there's more grip but because there's less water. Having said that,
okay, your pace is good, but we need to open the gap up to second. Push
I'm trying. Trouble is, I'm trying not to brake on the wet bit. I'm not sure there's really enough room to actually brake after it properly. So it's a little bit of a squeaky bum moment, as they say. Just lift off and just float through the wet bits, almost literally. Can't decide if the rain's easing off a bit or not. And even if it does ease off, we'll still have quite a lot of puddles left for a while. I think it's easing off, and then I'm not so sure. Not clever, not clever at all. Definitely a bit of a scary moment there. I thought I was going to end up on the wrong side of the track facing the wrong way. Again, it's that balance between pushing hard enough to try and generate enough heat in your tyres to help with the grip, and not doing something totally bloody stupid and end up facing the wrong way on the track.
You're on another level. Keep building that gap. Keep up with your work.
I'm sure the puddles are getting a bit smaller again. Well, it might be my imagination. I'll try going a little bit straighter through that. In many ways, this is more about ignoring what's going on around you and just paying attention to what's happening ahead of it. Because I hadn't even noticed the car behind us has disappeared in the rearview mirror a bit. No, don't stick a wheel in now. I'm sure that puddle coming out of the first corner is definitely reduced a bit in size. That's still horrendous though. Very scary. Yeah, so what was I saying about VR earlier? Yeah, I was thinking about doing something along the lines of let's have a look at VR and see how various things perform. I was actually doing some testing on my other machine, and I could get some quite good results. What I was actually doing was having a look at the NVIDIA sharpening tool to see if it actually had any effect in VR. I don't think it has, but I'm sure I read somewhere afterwards that said no, it won't have any effect in VR. It should only work in pancake mode, but I couldn't see any obvious difference when I turned it on and off in VR. But I was actually doing that and playing with racing, and trying it on my other machine, just using a gamepad because I couldn't be bothered to turn this machine on and do anything with that. So
Leading by 7 seconds. We're in a good place, but keep it up.
I was surprised how well it actually ran on the other machine. It looked quite good and was quite solid, so that's why I thought, wonder if it's worth doing something to say sort of how well do the various things I have played in VR compare. And that'll be looking at Lib for Speed, AC, ACC, Race Room, Project Cars 2, Kartcraft and Kart Pro possibly even Dirt Rally 2. Oh! What? Oh, that got very wet all of a sudden. As I was saying, don't stick your toe in the puddles on the way around. That'll lose 3 seconds on my lap. And it'll be interesting to see things like like I said, it's definitely getting smaller, that puddle. Tinkering with Race Room, and what I actually appeared to find was that on my other machine I couldn't actually get the full 90 frames even on the lower settings, so I was just stuck in 45 frames a second. But it's perfectly smooth, perfectly playable. But what I did find is that if I went above 30 AI, was it, I started to lose frames. I was actually testing around the Sachsenring circuit in Germany. It's quite a small, neat little circuit. As you came round the back of the circuit, a bit wide, a bit too wide there. As you come round the back of the circuit, if you had 2 or 3 AI in front of you, but you only had a handful, everything was hunky-dory. You did the same thing even with no AI ahead of you when you got 30 AI and you drop 3 or 4, 5 frames a second. And it was bloody obvious when you dropped below the sort of threshold of 45 frames a second solidly, and that sort of was like, wonder if it's worth sort of having a bit of a play and seeing how well it does on this machine by comparison. I'm sure not long ago I actually tried Race Room around in Northcliffe with a full 100 AI on this machine, and it was okay. The difference being that this is a 4770K that's been wound up to 4.1 gigahertz or whatever, and that's 4790K wide but not too wide this time, running at stock speeds. 4790T low power machine running at stock speeds, which means it'll be running about 3 point something gigahertz if you're lucky. Is it me or is it going darker again? A bit more cloud build up by the looks of it. Oh, that's so horrible, that is. You think you've missed the puddle and then it just dips its toe in it and off you go, time for a spin. You can see where the water's getting pushed away through that previous puddle. Oh, a little bit wider. Oh, bloody hell. Are we losing front tyre temperature? There we are. Then you have to see the tyre temperatures down there. It's obvious I was losing a bit of front tyre temperature.
4 minutes to go.
And like I said, it's about balance between pushing hard enough to try and keep some temperature in the tyres and not going so stupid that you end up throwing it down the road. And that puddle on the last corner is getting quite big on the inside, which is rather nasty. I won't say I just thank Christ this wasn't in the dark, because this would have been a nightmare. Oop. Starting to rotate around the corner there. You see that the water's getting a little bit shallower and the puddle is disappearing on that previous corner, and we definitely have lost all our temperature in the front left tyre out. Don't know why. Let's try and force a bit of understeer to try and put some temperature back in it. Suddenly I've stuck in a ridiculously fast lap. That's bizarre. Certainly wasn't trying to stick in a ridiculous fast lap.
Fastest lap of the race. 2 minutes remaining.
Now, interestingly, I suddenly seem to have a load more grip because I've suddenly got some temperature in the front tyres. So I wish that was a bit more predictable what it would do for that puddle. Away there, slithering up the side of the circuit, force a little bit of understeer again, try and get some grip.
1 minute to go.
Grip, 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 give me some grip. Whoop. Bit of aquaplane in there.
That's the fastest lap of the race. Good job. Final lap. This is the final lap. Keep it steady and take some wins. You deserve this, buddy.
Keep it steady. That's a laugh, isn't it? I'm really telling me to speed up, and now you're telling me to keep it steady. He can't make his mind up. Sure, some of these puddles are disappearing and some of them are getting deeper, but that's what happens when you model runoff. You see there's a bit there where it's actually still a bit wet on the outside and a bit wet on the inside, but there is actually a mildly drier part of the track, or should I say less wet as opposed to dry, and that first of those two puddles there is definitely getting smaller. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. Although that puddle is just ridiculous. Now the hard part is going to be that's really nasty, that one. It's going to be trying to remember where the pit entrance is. So yeah, that's water's much shallower where people are going through it. I'm going to get splashed out of the way because that's modelled as well. And this, you definitely see where a lot less water there. And that's, those two puddles are definitely got shallow. Right. Somewhere over it is the red line up there that you can't see because my face is in the way or something, or the replay. Oop, where's the entrance? There it is. That's one of the reasons for keeping the map up there, just so you can remember where the bloody pit entrance is, because sometimes I get confused and go, oh, I can't remember. And just, why are you always late waving? Why is it this one they put it back in the garage? I don't know. Right, well, that was a much easier victory than I thought it was going to be, although I did make bloody hard work of it at times, so 23-second gap that opened up. I think it was as the track started to get a little bit less wet, although there was still some fairly monumental rivers there. Right, replay. Save the replay, save the replay. Saved. Right, shock horror. Where's my teammate? Let's have a laugh. Last? Oh! Not last. Right, I am now a point ahead. It'll never last. I think that inner drive would have been a lot closer, but you can't have everything all the time. So round 4 is Keto GP, which I think should be quite a nice race. That's 7th of June, so it's probably going to be blindingly hot, but probably not as hot as Dubai. Now, of course, we've got our first visit to Fuji. That's our first visit to Dubai as well, isn't it? Yep, I think it should be. So, that was Raupuna or Rapunzel, Let Down Your Hair, which is a nice little circuit, as I said, near Christchurch in New Zealand, and that was round 3, and the next one will be Sakito in Japan. And until then, enjoy your racing, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.